All right, everyone, we are back. Happy New Year. It is a brand new year. Feels like we can throw the 2025 season away now. The Alamo Bowl, the Horned Frogs come from behind 10 points deep into the fourth quarter and beat number 16 USC. Great way to end the season, obviously. I guess I would ask my other talking toads here, Reed and Stan, where were you? How are you feeling into the fourth? Were you about to turn it off like I was? I guess what were you thinking going into that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I thought we were done for sure. I was at my parents' house to watch, and I think around like 6 or 7 minutes left in the fourth, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go home. This is over with. Then my in laws were at our house, and they still had it on, and my father in law was just like, just give it a minute or two. And that's when they started to turn it around, and then they did. So, no, yeah, that was a great game, but I thought we were done for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely Hope was dwindling for sure. I mean, I thought our performance in the first half was pretty decent. Like once we got kind of Ken Seals got settled in, and then I mean the fourth quarter was just kind of insane. Kind of came out of nowhere. And then what an epic finish from our guy Jeremy Payne, the Payne train, just absolutely making USC look like fools in the last play.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. Halftime, you're right. I felt like we were right in it. And I think it was pretty much tied at halftime. Third quarter just felt like I don't know the better team was going to pull away, and then yeah, I was about to give up, even to the point where Payne ran in for that touchdown to make it. What would that have been? A once? Were we down three at that point when he scored that touchdown?
I
I thought,
think so.
okay, I thought that was I stood up a little bit, but still didn't feel like
Yeah.
it was real. But I guess I'm the fool because TCU and San Antonio, just something always works, right?
Just have your
Yeah.
backup quarterback playing in San Antonio, and you'll be fine. The main takeaway I have for that game is Jeremy Payne is clearly the number one guy going into the next year in the running back position. I think over the back half of the season, he's just been playing super well. He looks way more physical than he did last year, and I feel like he's reading holes better. So he had a great game. Then also the offensive line, I thought they played well as well at the back half of the year too. I know Ben Taylor Whitfield moving to left tackle that helped him a lot. So I'm excited to see what he does next year. But yeah, that game, Ken Seals, props to him for sticking around, frog through and through, and yeah, you can't complain ever beating a ranked USC team to end your season. So I think that'll build a little momentum going into next year.
Agreed. Kind of like everyone says, bowl season is kind of like that extra spring practice, and I think especially for this team with so much uncertainty, new coaching, new coordinators, obviously a new quarterback, which we'll get into. It just felt like so much was kind of thrown up in the air around the holidays. So to get a crucial win with guys that will be back, like Jeremy Payne, Terry Sheldon had a nice game. Even Jalen Johnson had a pick in the game, and in fact, when he made that interception, I thought to myself, and I even told my dad, I was like, "Man, I think we might miss him next year." But he's gonna come back. So agreed. Really great kind of momentum starter. And I can't remember who sent me this today, but we have the lowest amount of transfers going into the portal in the entire Big 12, and I think it's not even close. So not saying that the Alamo Bowl did that, but it plays into this thought of there is some continuity and there is some sort of buy-in with this team, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I love the culture of like Arab and McAllister stepping up and being like, no, we're playing this game. Like we're gonna win this game, and then just the fight and all that is great. And then yeah, I mean, it looks like the most of the people leaving are honestly just like backups. I think there's a couple, maybe like Jonathan Backs, maybe could have played next year.
Yeah.
Hoover's the backup, the way he
Yeah,
played
Hoover.
last year. No, I'm just
And then I mean,
There you
also
go.
forget how many times we like almost lost that game. The fumble on the drive on the game tying drive.
Yep.
Like my girlfriend literally turned it off. She's like, "All right, it's over." I'm like, "No, it could be an incompletion,"
Yeah.
and then it was. Like it kind of looked really close live, and then to actually go down like I mean, I don't know. I thought there's a little bit of overreaction on Twitter because there's some people going, if Ken Seals started the whole year, we would have been better. It's like, all right, like we threw the ball down like downfield maybe once or twice and like got lucky on like that one to Dwyer over the middle, and I mean he did well for himself. But yeah, let's have some respect for what was done before and not go fully overboard on that.
I will say though, Ken Seals had one start in his TCU tenure, and he had a more memorable win than Hoover ever had, which is kind of crazy to think about. I know it was like a USC team; it was playing a lot of their second team, but still, he never had a good a win as that.
Yeah, I think I make comments to myself about Hoover and I guess. Well, hold on. I want to keep talking about the Alamo Bowl. We'll get into Hoover, but no, this team all year had been looking. I guess you could talk about the SMU game and maybe North Carolina week 1, but for that signature win to say, yeah, we can play, and we just didn't see that really all year. At least finishing a game. And so I was really, really happy to see that. And yeah, Ken Seals will go down in TCU lore as one of those guys that just gave us that fun win. And we know he's a local kid that dreamt of that moment. So that was really cool to see. Yeah. Anything else on the Alamo Bowl that you want to touch on before we get into the
two quick thoughts. Their USC tackling is just so embarrassing. I mean, it's a kind of a tradition now with Lincoln Riley's teams that they just their defense
especially
is
that
a little
last
soft. Play. And it was very like West Coast kind of soft. Like they definitely had talent on their defense, like because they could make some plays here and there, like with the defensive line. And then I also at first that their quarterback Maivia, pronunciation Maivia. I thought he had a really rough game, and then he had some deep passes like later that were pretty nice. But overall, I was like, I don't know, I wasn't as impressed with his arm and his play as some of these other sort of NFL draft people are kind of projecting him out to be. But he also was missing some of his guys.
And one last thing on the Alamo Bowl before we move on. I don't know about y'all, but that was like the best I've felt after winning a game since 2022. Something about it, just guys like you aren't expected to win. Your quarterback leaves you, kind of a wishy-washy year. And you end the season on a high note like that. You're all over ESPN, all over Twitter just from the ending. So it's good seeing TCU get that publicity that they really haven't gotten over the past couple of years.
Since like the first game of the year. I mean, the UNC game, that was such a public moment for us as well. And then SMU was good too, but yeah, it wasn't as big of a moment for like our university as since the first game of the year, and this was bigger.
Absolutely, all those factors, everything you talked about: Ken Seals, Hoover leaving, just being in the Alamo Bowl, and everything. 8 wins this season. We felt like we wanted more. Well, now you just went and granted USC was also down some players too, but hell, we were down our best player. And we went in there and beat them. So really great to see 9-4 to end the season.
2 years in a row, 9-4. I don't remember the last time that's ever happened at TCU.
So that was my question, Reed. Does that change your tune a little bit on Sonny Dykes and the culture he's created? And 2 years in a row of 9 wins. We know the big blemish after the national championship run. But how do you currently feel here in early January 2026 about Sonny Dykes?
He always just suckers you back in at the last game of the year. You look at during the season, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, Here we go again. Then he gets hot at the end of the year. Last year's 9-4 didn't feel as good as this one. I think it's just because we played ULL instead of USC. That's probably the main reason. But
right.
Yeah, no, this coming year is a big year for him. He's going to have a lot of roster turnover. You're losing McAllister, Hoover, Bud Clark, Colton Deary, so on and so on. So yeah, I'm curious to see what the win-loss column will look like next year. But yeah, he pulls me back in every year. Damn it,
Stan. How warm should Sonny's seat be? I guess moving into this next season from your point of view?
I mean, for me, not at all. I mean, I feel like I tried to be even keel about it, and I feel like I'm kind of still in the same boat as I was after the season, which was 8-4 was a good season. It wasn't a great season, which we're obviously always hoping for, but it still was a good season for me. And I mean, sometimes it's okay to just be good.
That's true. This is why we need Stan. He does play the even keel card, and that's needed. And it is. It's good to have that perspective. If you're really looking at the final win losses from the Big 12, TCU would end up playing, I guess, tied for fifth with Arizona, both at 9-4 for the season. If you want to look at it that way. So yeah, great way to end the season. One more question for you: does Lemmerman make that kick if we only get, say, 5 yards? Because it looked like Jeremy Payne was going to get 5 yards on that little dump off there. So that would have put him there at we were at the 35, got to the 30. That's a 47-yard field goal. Does Lemmerman make that kick to send it to double OT?
I don't want to know the answer to that. We don't even need to play that hypothetical.
Would he have even kicked? Because I feel like he was on a bit of a. The only one he made was a 27-yarder and extra points. So I feel like his leg.
Lemmerman and
he's not doing kickoffs, so I don't think his leg is quite as strong as it has been.
Yeah.
If it was some sort of thigh injury, that can definitely like reduce your strength in your leg. And I actually wonder if he would even have attempted the kick. It could have been McCashlin.
Last thing before we move on, that man jack incompletion was definitely a catch, right?
Rigged.
For sure a catch.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if I was losing it or not.
No, yeah, the group chats were going brazy about the glove, no glove thing there again. So, yeah, that was. But I think everyone agrees that was a catch.
Yeah. Okay.
But whatever. Ball don't lie. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up. I guess one more. I keep going on the Alamo Bowl because there were kind of these little storylines throughout it. Kavorian Barnes didn't get any carries. So I don't know what that tells you about maybe his health. I thought they were maybe going to give him some carries just to get some film on for the NFL to get some looks. But it seemed like they went in the game and said, no, Jeremy Payne's our guy for next year, and we want to get him some runs in. So there were a few guys like that sprinkled throughout that I thought kind of the time management of these players' times were interesting.
I don't think he suited up, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, you talking about Denman. Denman got a bunch of carries, and he was pretty solid as well. So I mean, he'll be a good player for next year for sure.
Yeah, we can just call the running back room the law firm next year, Payne and Denman.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, you talk about Sonny Dykes pulling you back in. The running back room keeps pulling me back in. I remember being excited this coming season about the kind of threesome of guys that we had, and call it 4 guys that I thought could get some meaningful carries. And you're right, Jeremy Payne has cemented himself as the week 1 starter for next year, and what great experience he has. I feel like he's been with the program for 4 years already, but no, he's still got some time with us. So super excited for him. All right, moving on. So before the Alamo Bowl, we obviously got the news that Josh Hoover officially entered the transfer portal. I think we had all been expecting something to happen when we first heard the news with Indiana. It just kind of felt like that was always going to be the school. But yeah, I guess going back to the same question, where were you when you got that ESPN notification that it was official? And how do you feel sitting on it here for a few days now that it's technically been official for, I guess, 2 days now?
You got it, Stan.
Yeah, I think I know Reed's reaction, and I want to hear Stan's.
Reed, let's hear your reaction first. I want the fire.
No, we did the podcast when it was announced he was transferring. I think I kind of laid it all out, and then no, I wasn't surprised at all as Indiana. Yeah. I mean, I've kind of moved on from him. I sound like a salty ex-girlfriend. But yeah, no, he put up great stats at TCU. Never had that big win or big series whenever he needed it. Do I wish him the best? No. Do I wish him the worst? No. I'm just kind of indifferent. I'm not going to follow him. like follow their games or anything, because if he does well, then I'll probably get super mad / sad. So we'll just leave it at that.
And if I could
Yeah.
just interject, because I know I feel the same way as Reed. You said it best. I'm not going to root against him. Not going to necessarily root for him either. I do feel like from everything I've read, TCU matched every financial offer that was being handed to him. Felt like he was surrounded by great wide receiver talent while here at TCU. I don't know the full story on what money we've been able to offer to get even more talent around him, especially around the offensive line. And I know that's always been a struggle for us, but felt like we gave him a shot to really cement himself as a TCU legend. And you're right, in the big moments, he didn't get it done. He made some awesome plays that I'll remember. The way that he's leaving and going to the number one team in the country just kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth to say that we weren't good enough for him. And whether that's fact or not, just still irritates me. So I'm kind of with you, Reed. I do find it interesting that he kind of just had tunnel vision on Indiana. I know they're the kind of hot team right now, or should I say, Indiana had tunnel vision on him. I find it interesting that out of all the quarterbacks that they could get around the country, that they said Hoover is their guy. I find that kind of interesting. So um, anyway, that's where I stand. And Stan, I know you have a little bit of a different tune, but what are your full thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it does kind of reflect, poorly honest, that he felt like it was kind of as far as he could take it. Like, I don't know. Like, if when you're quarterback for starting quarterback for 3 years, and this is kind of like 8-4, it's good, but yeah, he definitely wants to go the next level, in terms of like personal game, and that's like trying to be the next Mendoza. You can
Yeah.
definitely see some sort of similarities in their games. I can see why he'd want to go to Indiana, and then also they're obviously doing amazing as well, so he can compete for national championship. Yeah, I don't feel like it was quite just a financial decision, which was that extra layer of like it. Yeah, it stings. Um, I do hope the best for him, but I also think there is some limitations to his game as well. Like he just has no mobility, which I think is just kind of hurt us a little bit because our run game wasn't great, and just him not having mobility just kind of doesn't really open up the offense to the level of like where we saw it with Max Duggan. So I'm actually really excited where we're going with our quarterback position next.
One more thing on Hoover before we move on. I don't know if the rumors are true or not, whether like the fans talking shit about him or it like affected him personally. If that's the case, and that's one of the reason he transferred, good luck dealing with Kurt Signetti every day. That dude just seems like a complete asshole to play for. So yeah, he's gonna have to grow some tougher skin. If that's really one of the reasons why he left TCU. And their alumni base is like 100 times bigger than TCU. So he'll be hearing criticism left and right.
It will be interesting. It'll be super weird to see him in a different uniform, and yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make our way up to Bloomington for a playoff game. That would just be cinema for us, at least. All right,
Paul
so
Yawale coming off the corner, knock his
yeah,
ass down. Yeah.
yeah. So going into I guess the transfer portal of guys coming in. Yes, Paul Oyewale is entered. Now he's back in. Same with Pimpton. Same move. And you started to kind of sense that this was going to be the pattern. Just because you enter the portal doesn't mean you're actually leaving the program. It feels like it's like a player holding out a camp in the NFL. It's just they're going to do it, but it's going to work out.
Dwyer.
Dwyer did the same thing.
Well, he didn't officially enter, but there was rumblings that he was going to enter. But he's staying.
Interesting. So got some guys back, which is great to see. Johnson did it last year, and he already said he's coming back, which is really cool to see. Chapman is coming back, so you can tell there's some buy-in, and it seems to all have trickled since the official announcement of TCU's new quarterback now. Reed, I think you might have called it on the last podcast. It's the quarterback from Harvard, Mass. It's Jaden Craig. And admittedly did not know much about him. The first time I ever saw him was a Mel Kiper list of NFL prospects a few months back. I was just kind of scrolling through and honestly just kind of skipped him because it was a quarterback from Harvard that I didn't really know much about. But I remembered the name. And so when whispers started coming out that the TCU was interested in him, it piqued my interest. And here we are. It's official. Jaden Craig will be your starting quarterback next year. What were y'all's thoughts when you officially heard that news?
Go ahead, Stan.
I mean, I love it. I mean, if you really think about it, Hoover was a mid to late round prospect. Jaden Craig is a mid to late round prospect. So, I think talent wise, are we really changing that much more? And I think it's fair to say he's definitely going to not receive as much of a financial compensation. So we're probably saving a little bit of money. But his coach talks glowingly about him. You know, the best quarterbacks there at Harvard since Ryan Fitzpatrick. What I also like, obviously not a lot of interceptions in his career. So he's taking care of the ball. And the coach also said that he can actually move, that he doesn't, but they haven't like really let him move around a whole lot, but he has that in his locker, which I love because I feel like that just adds that added dimension to our offense when you have to account for that extra man. So I think it's a great sign. I think a lot of other teams were in on them, like Tennessee and some other SEC teams. So he was highly coveted.
Yeah, I honestly had never heard of him until a couple weeks ago, and I started looking at his film a little bit. I mean, it's really hard to take away anything whenever you're playing like Holy Cross, Villanova, teams like that. But if you just look at his arm talent and him running the ball, he kind of reminds me a little of a taller Jalen Hurts with a better arm. Kind of same body build, just kind of sturdy and stocky. Will it work out? I don't know, but I think Stan's right. You're kind of replacing a late round draft pick with another late round draft pick, and you're saving money, which could better the offensive line, which is what we need. And with this new offensive coordinator in Samus, he's a guy who really hones in on protecting the ball. And I think throughout his career, Craig had 12 interceptions and Hoover had 13 alone this year. So if he can just keep the ball away from the other team and just run the system, I think this fit's going to be perfectly fine, and hopefully it leads to a good year next year.
Yeah, so you can pretty much. I mean, we knew with the offensive coordinator Samus from UConn coming on board, O-line heavy, run game heavy, more balanced offense, and so now this really kind of propels that idea that the air raid offense for TCU. Should be no more next year, you would think. I mean, it's just not going to be that type of offense. If they're going to play to his strengths, that's not what it is. It's going to be a very balanced attack. So he fits that bill. I know everyone's called out too that he only has 1 year left of eligibility. That was obviously on purpose. I think TCU really likes Schobel and wants him to be the guy when he's ready. So you can call it just checked box after checked box. I think it was everything that TCU wanted, and granted, they've been watching a lot more film than we have, so I trust that department to make the right call.
Now he's winless in Harvard Yale. That's to your big game
That's a big deal.
points. So I gotta ask you guys about that. Yeah, but he did.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he did bowl out in his last game, but 0-3 against Yale is not good.
I have a hypothetical for y'all. Say we didn't get Craig. Who the hell is the backup plan? Because everyone else is pretty much taken at this point.
Yeah, you have to go down the line of guys that only have 1 year because that's really, I think, what they focused on. And you weren't getting Sam Levitt. You weren't getting Sorsby. Those guys were out of our price range. So I don't know. I don't know who else they were looking at, but it felt like there weren't a lot of other whispers about other guys. It felt like this was always the guy they were going after.
Yeah, you heard Colton Joseph a little bit, the guy from ODU. But I think is he a redshirt senior as well? I think he may be out of 2 years, 1 or 2 years.
I think he is, but he's going to Wisconsin.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really only him and Craig that I heard of, but I was like, Tech, they still haven't signed a guy. This was pre-Sorsby. LSU still hasn't signed anyone. Then there was a couple others. I'm like, what if another team hops on Craig before we finalize this deal? Then then what happens from there? But yeah, no, I'm glad we got it done, and I think it's just a perfect fit for this new offensive scheme.
It had to have been Sonny leading that charge. He knows he needed a guy that can ball starting now because even though Sonny isn't really on the hot seat, he can't afford a 6-win season this year. I mean, they've got to compete. So I think that fits that bill. Yeah, I don't think he was ready to throw in Schobel. I wonder what his mindset is right now. That kid of thinking like he might be ready, but obviously the coaching staff doesn't think he is. So. But no, like you said, the film looks good. He is a bigger guy. He's 6'3", like 230. So I'm excited to see him in a TCU uniform. I think guys like Chambliss out of Ole Miss, and I don't know, this is a bad example, Trey Lance. There's guys that come out of small schools that can still compete against the big guys too. So I'll be excited to see what he can do.
Are you more excited about him or John Hoyt Chance, the new punter we got from Louisiana Tech? I'm actually super excited about this guy. Apparently, he was one of the best punters in the country, and Lord knows we've needed one over the past, 5 years?
I mean, it's ridiculous. Field position is such a big aspect of the game that a lot of other people talk about. So if we can flip the field better than we have the last few years, that's going to make a big difference for both sides of the ball.
It looks like he seems like a guy who would work at Lowe's. Just a thicker guy, mustache.
Yeah, the mustache.
We love that. We love the lunch pail guys, the man jacks of the world. We need more of those guys on the team. And another Louisiana Tech guy. So, by the way, Talking Toads had a pretty fire tweet today. You should go check it out. Mm-hmm. We're kind of turning into LA Tech West over here. We got their punter. Yeah. The safety out of Louisiana Tech, Jacob Fields, committed as well. So he'll probably be your Bud Clark ball hawk type guy for next year. He was Defensive Player of the Year for Conference USA last year. So someone's doing some film over there in Louisiana.
Do you think Sonny Cumbie is like, yeah, go ahead and go to TCU? They were good to me, so y'all be good to them.
Good point. And that's exactly how he talks too, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah. With more of a West Texas draw for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Jaden Craig, that addition, we won't be punting that much, so we actually won't use his punter at all. So
he pulls a Caleb Williams and is like,
that's what
punting much, and he punts literally every possession of his rookie year.
Well, I know what would help the non-punting, and that's some more offensive line. We obviously know about Noah McKinney coming from Oklahoma State, but that's probably my biggest knee-jerk reaction here as we start 2026 is I hope we're hitting the portal for some offensive linemen. We're getting decimated with guys transferring out, like Rashid Jackson, Quentin Harris, just to name a few, and then Colton Deere we know is graduated, so I'm a little nervous about our offensive line, and I'm hoping that they're making some phone calls as we speak on there.
Did you guys see that we're not in for the UConn tackle? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, he went to Michigan State, I believe.
It was like down to Oklahoma State and Michigan State and some other. Yeah, I mean, Big 12 team was in it.
Yeah, apparently he wasn't great in pass protection. I trust Samus' evaluation where he's like, yeah, this guy played for me when I was OC at UConn, but he's not good enough for Big 12 play. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. We didn't get him right along, but apparently Samus knew something that we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was weird.
You would think he probably said something like, let him go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else has hit the portal or some other storylines. We did just a few hours ago, it was confirmed that we got the linebacker from Virginia Tech, Michael Short. So hoping for a KEO type transfer to come in and be our leading tackler again. We seem to get some good production out of our linebackers. If we get just the right type of player in there, our system allows for some great success with linebackers. So I'll be excited to see what he can do. And I think that's pretty much it for guys that have officially come in, but I know that there's been talk of guys visiting campus this week as well.
There's a guy from Cincinnati who started his college career at Colorado State, Caleb Goody. He's a receiver, and I believe he's visiting either today or tomorrow. He's a sneaky good receiver who really didn't get much credit in the Big 12, and he's a guy who can take the top off the defense. So I would be super thrilled to get him. I think he's between us and Mizzou, so that's just something to keep an eye on.
There's a lot going on. There's guys you almost have to – I don't even know what you can look at to see where all these rumors are. It's like NFL free agency but on crack, it seems, because you just – who knows what's real. These are just kids, walking around campuses and checking things out. You forget that there's school involved in all this too. So a lot to check in on. Coaching staff is ever changing. We brought up new offensive coordinator. I don't think we've talked officially since that's been made official. New running backs coach, and Kaz, our strength and conditioning coach, who I swear you never know who the strength and conditioning coach is unless you follow a team pretty religiously. But Kaz and TCU are parting ways. So a lot changing on campus there within the football department. And I wonder if that's Sonny saying, this is my team. I got to do something different.
Yeah, what's our take on that? What do you guys think?
I thought it was interesting. But yeah, Kaz, he's been with Sonny since SMU, I believe. But to me, they just haven't looked as disciplined or as physical ever since that 2022 year. I know, granted, that O-line had some NFL guys on there, but something just hasn't been there. If you just based on the eye test, I'm sure we were near the top of the Big 12 in penalty yardage. That goes back to strength and conditioning and your head coach, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know who we're going to get for that position. I'm not going to act like I really am an expert in strength and conditioning coaches. So whoever they name, sure, let's roll with it. But yeah, I think this is Lester, what you were saying, Sonny's taking charge. He knows he doesn't not have that much time left, but he knows, all right, we got to be better than 8-4 every year if we really want to accomplish our goals. So yeah, lots of changes, and yeah, it's good. He's kind of finally taking control of the program, I think. So
yeah, I feel like that was kind of a puzzling move for me. I mean, I feel like I saw a lot of players on X, the Everything app, react afterwards. Kind of surprised that he was let go because he's got such a great. Well, I mean, he's got a reputation as a very good strength and conditioning coach, and then some of those Baylor players back in the day were absolute freaks that came out. I mean, Jeremy Payne just ran through 5 guys at 180 pounds on the way to a touchdown. That was a pretty impressive play, and he's not a very big guy. So I feel like, yeah, I get your angle of, it's not good enough right now, so we need to get, find different ways to get better. But feel like, he was one of the, he's one of the best strength and conditioning coaches around. So I don't know. I think it's kind of puzzling.
And something could have happened behind the scenes. Who knows? It's
yeah, that's true.
One of those firings or let goes that you really aren't sure about. Also, did y'all know Corey Coleman? He left before the end of the year.
I saw that, but I didn't read much into it. What was that about?
So I have no idea, but my point is that's 3 ex-Baylor coaches who have been gone before going into next year, which is kind of interesting.
Well, good. Maybe that's the secret sauce. I mean, we had too many Baylor Bears on our staff for too long. So, and a Bryles. So, if anything, all things considered, it's a new leaf. We've turned a new leaf.
I don't know if y'all saw this or not, but Sorsby's reasoning of why he chose Tech was that he liked the facilities.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's all agent talk. That's my big gripe is with these Adam Schefter types who just plug in exactly what the agents texted them.
Exactly. Hopefully, if you're a Tech fan, if they make it to the playoffs again next year, they can put up at least a field goal or something. Yeah. Maybe Sorsby is 3 points better than Morton.
You would think Sorsby can get into the red zone. Yeah, sorry, Red Raider fans. That did not pan out how you imagined, I'm sure. I know of at least two Tech fans that didn't even buy a ticket to that game because they were assuming they were going to the following game. So
Wow.
Such a shame. You just got to feel bad for them. They aren't braggadocious or anything over the past year.
Culture question, Reed. Did you root for Texas Tech or did you root for Oregon?
Hell no, Oregon all the way.
Yeah, good. There was people that we know that were rooting for Texas Tech for the Big 12.
You gotta text me on the side who that was because you gotta question their TCU fandom.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane.
it's crazy to me. I've never, for any sport, hated a team during the season, but then once the playoffs are in and my team's out, I'm like, well, it's good for the brand. It's good for the brand, or it's good for the conference. And I know college football is different, but I just can't. I can't even compute that in my mind. How that would
I don't
work.
care about anyone else other than TCU. Like,
Yeah,
people can
same.
make fun of Big 12 all they want for how we perform in playoffs or out of conference, whatever. As long as TCU wins, I really don't care what everyone else does.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page with that one. That's a relief. And I'm sure all of our thousands of listeners, please comment and tell us how you felt about that as well. Because it seemed like there was a few people online that were looking for Big 12 optics, and I didn't get it.
Gross people out there in the world.
Bad people. Bad guys.
Bad people out there. Bad people. All right, guys. Well, any other last notes here? I think our plan for the pod is we'll keep talking as things do come up. This is the only transfer window. There's no more window after spring practice, so I think we should at least talk after the transfer portal closes and just talk about what this roster looks like going into spring camp. Obviously, a lot of time until week 1 in Ireland, but the calendar has flipped, and I'll tune into the playoffs, but I'm already on to TCU for 2026. So still a lot to talk on. Anything else from you guys? All right. Well, cool. A lot of good stuff to catch up on. Appreciate you all listening in. Continue to tune in to Talkin' Toads again as the transfer portal goes on for a few more days. It's like NFL free agency all over again. So tune in. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon. Alamo Bowl champs. People forget that.
Never forget.
Never forget. All right.